Alrighty guys, welcome to our college basketball free pick video here today for Sunday, February 5th, 2023. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, the best way to do that is to sign up for my board member package on my website. And once again, that site is patreon.com/BrockPage. Not only do board members get access to every single personal play, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days, you're also going to get access to my full NBA Pick Show video as a board member here today as well. It's an all-inclusive, full access membership that works out to be just $1.66 a day over the next 30 days if you sign up here today. And at $1.66 a day, that's cheaper than your daily cup of coffee. Now, guys, I currently have over 525 members who are signed up and active on that site right now. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off in the Big East. I'm talking about DePaul taking on Seton Hall, 12 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Seton Hall's -10, totals 138. Now, Seton Hall's played some incredibly tough defense lately. They got the W in 6 out of their last 7. And they allowed just 61 points a game on average during that time frame. And no real surprise here, guys. Well, Seton Hall's in the top 15 in the nation in defending the three-pointer. They're actually limiting their opponents to just 27% shooting from three land in their own building. Alamir Dawes, he has 23 steals on the season on defense. He's also the team's leading scorer, and he drills 40% of his three-pointers. Now, Ty Samuel and Kaderi Richmond, they're averaging double-digit points a game themselves. They're facing a DePaul team who lost their last 4 straight. They took the loss in 7 out of their last 9. And aside from making just 39% of their field goals on the road, these guys are also one of the worst rebounding teams in the country. Now, injury-wise, Geberwitt and Terry are questionable. Ongenda is still out. Meanwhile, for Seton Hall on the other side, Dre Davis is questionable for them. When it comes to the total in this one, the Pirates are 80% to the under on their own campus. Meanwhile, DePaul saw 6 out of their last 9 on the road stay under the total themselves. I'm going to lean towards Seton Hall -10, under 138. Next contest, a little Big Ten action. I'm talking about Ohio State at Michigan, 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Michigan's -3, totals 144. And even though the Wolverines haven't been great, it's actually Ohio State who lost 8 out of their last 9 ball games. When it comes to defensive play, Ohio State's arguably the worst defensive rebounding team on the road in the Big Ten. They're facing a Michigan team on the other side who's got a .727 win percentage in the Chrysler Center. And no real surprise here, guys. The Wolverines are averaging nearly 75 points a game in front of their own fans. Hunter Dickinson, he's scoring over 17.5 points per contest, along with 8 rebounds. Meanwhile, Jett Howard, he averages 14 points a game. He's also drilling just about 40% of his three-pointers. Now, total-wise, Michigan saw 4 out of their last 7 get over the number. Meanwhile, Ohio State saw overs against the likes of Indiana, Iowa, and Maryland. I'm going to lean toward Michigan -3 over 144. Next ball game, it is going to be Penn State at Nebraska, 4:30 p.m. East. Penn State's the 4-point favorite, totals 136. Now, the Nittany Lions are playing some pretty tough defense this year. They're allowing just 67 points a game on the season. Meanwhile, on the offensive end of the court, there's really not many teams who can shoot it better than these guys. Penn State's in the top 15 in shooting from the stripe. They're also a top 23-point shooting team as well. It's top 20 in the country, by the way. Seth Lundy, he's drilling 43% of his long balls. He's also scoring 14 points a game. Meanwhile, Jalen Pickett, he's the Lions' leading scorer with 17 points a night himself. They're facing a Nebraska team on the other side who failed to cover in 8 out of their last 9. The Cornhuskers are also one of the worst offensive teams in the Big Ten, if not the entire nation. Very bad in that category. These guys are averaging only 65 points per contest. Now, total-wise, Nebraska saw 8 out of their last 10 in Lincoln State under the number. They're also 74% to the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Penn State -4, under 136. Next ball game, it is going to be Houston taking on Temple, 6 o'clock Eastern start time. Houston's minus 10, totals 131. Now, the Cougs are still undefeated away from Houston, and they're one of the toughest teams to score on in the country. These guys allow just 55 points a game, and they also limit their opponents to 35% shooting from the field. As a matter of fact, both of those stats I just mentioned to you, they actually rank in the top 3 in the entire country. Now, the Cougs are also one of the best rebounding teams in the nation as well. They're in the top 25 in both offensive and defensive boards. Jawan Roberts, he grabs 7 rebounds a night, along with double-digit points. Meanwhile, Marcus Sasser, he scores a team-high 16 points a game. Now, they're facing a Temple team on the other side, who's one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the AAC. When it comes to offensive play, these guys are also one of the worst shooting teams in the conference. Now, total-wise, Temple went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Houston saw unders against the likes of Wichita State, Temple, and Tulane. I'm going to lean toward Houston, minus 10, under 131. Next matchup, it is going to be Northwestern taking on Wisconsin, 6:30 p.m. East. Wisconsin's minus 3, totals 125.5. Now, I do think the Badgers can get the job done here. They have a .700 win percentage at home, and they've really had Northwestern's number in recent meetings. Out of their last 10 games against the Wildcats, well, the Badgers got the W 8 times. As far as this year's concerned, the Badgers have been real tough to score against. They're allowing only 59 points a game in their own arena. Chucky Hepburn, he also has 36 steals on the year, along with 12 points a game. Now, Chucky's also been really good shooting it from three land. He's making over 46% of his shots from beyond the arc. Now, teammate Connor Esigian, he's also drilling 43% of his long balls, and he's averaging double-digit points a game as well. They're facing a Northwestern team on the other side of things who has had their problems guarding the three-pointer themselves. These guys actually, they're letting their opponents knock down 41% of their three-pointers against them when they travel. So having a tough time guarding that long-distance shot away from home. And no real shocker here, guys. The Wildcats are giving up 74 points a game away from the Welsh Ryan Arena. Now, injury-wise, Julian Roper is questionable for the Cats. When it comes to the total, Northwestern saw unders recently against the likes of Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio State. Meanwhile, Wisconsin went 4-2 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean toward Wisconsin, minus 3, under 125.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Stanford taking on Colorado, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Colorado's minus 4, totals 134. Now, the Buffs have been awful at covering the point spread lately. They failed to cover in their last 7 straight, and they're also having a tough time shooting the basketball. These guys are shooting just 67% from the stripe this year. They also have one of the lower three-point percentages in the Pac-12. They're facing a red-hot Stanford team on the other side of things who got the W in their last 5 straight, and they do play some pretty tough defense. The Cardinal allows just 65 points a game. They're also one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the conference. Spencer Jones, he's grabbing 5 boards a game, and of course, he's scoring 13 points a night as well. Meanwhile, teammate Michael Jones, he's averaging just about double-digit points a night himself. Now, injury-wise, James Keefe, he is questionable for the Cardinal. When it comes to the number, Stanford went 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Meanwhile, Colorado saw 7 out of their last 9 stay under the line themselves. I'm going to lean towards Stanford, plus 4, under 134. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our quick pick recap. Give me St. Joe's minus 6 over 141. Fordham plus 5 over 134.5. Seton Hall minus 10 under 138. Michigan minus 3 over 144. SIENA minus 5 under 127. Quinnipiac minus 11 under 135. Marist minus 1 under 134.5. Rider minus 3 under 136 and a hook. IONA minus 7 over 137. Southern Illinois -5 over 121. Wichita State -6 under 139. Penn State -4 under 136. Houston -10 under 131. Utah -15 under 128. Wisconsin -3 under 125.5. With my next and final free pick, I'm going to lean toward Stanford +4 under 134.